Hello, my name is Karen Linden, and thank you for listening to my nutrition evaluation plan. The name of my nutrition education program was The Truth About Weight Loss. For the program overview, my target audience were overweight soldiers of Golf Company 369 Armor Battalion that had ages ranging from 25 to 40 years of age. There were 12 single soldiers that lived in military barracks. Their ages ranged from 23 to 32 years of age. They primarily ate in the mess hall, the dining facility, or fast food restaurants. The married soldiers, those soldiers, they ate at home with their families, but they did occasionally eat out as well. And they did eat fast food for lunch on quite often as well, due to timing constraints at work. The main health issue addressed in the nutrition education program was obesity. These soldiers were deemed overweight by the Army Regulation 600-9, the Army Body Composition. In that regulation, it states that the maximum allowable body percentage fat would be ages 21 to 27, and all of the participants in my class were all males, but ages 21 to 27 they're allowed up to 22% body fat. Ages 28 to 39 males are allowed up to 24% body fat, and ages 40 and older males are allowed 26% body fat. So the males that were all in my nutrition education program were all overweight in accordance with the Army regulations, as I just stated. The stakeholders for my nutrition education program were obviously the overweight soldiers, because if they do not lose weight within 3 months of being placed on the overweight program, they could be kicked out of the military, thus losing their livelihood. And that's very important for those married soldiers. Some of the married soldiers, their wives don't work, so they really need that income. The other stakeholders are the United States Army, because they need a strong, effective fighting force, as well as down to the unit commander, because that commander needs to be able to rely on all of his soldiers. And if a soldier is overweight, he's not going to be effective for the mission, because he's not going to be able to do all the things that the soldiers are required to do going out on missions. So some of the things that the stakeholders may ask, like the overweight soldier, might want to know, what is the benefit of the soldier losing weight? The unit commander would want to know how many classes would it require, because time is of the essence, and they cannot afford to have their soldiers away from the mission too long. So it is important to know how many classes. And the Army, what are the cost benefits for this program? So those are some of the things that I addressed in my nutrition education evaluation, my program evaluation. So my actual program that I did, The Truth About Weight Loss, I call it a seminar, because the military likes that word. They tend to want to put their soldiers in things where they have fancy words like that. But it was a 45-minute class. The initial one was a 45-minute class. We discussed barriers, because a lot of them, they try to point fingers. They don't want to blame themselves. They want to look at the environment and come up with excuses of why they shouldn't make the changes that they should make. So we discussed those barriers and how to overcome those barriers. We also talked about sugar and the body. It's very important that they understood how the sugar affects the body. And then also the hidden secrets of food labels, where a food label, and I brought in different food items, and there are 2 different food items, the same food item. One was labeled fat-free, one was labeled original, and I showed them the difference. Hey, it may say fat-free, but it has a lot of sugar added in it, so it makes it taste yummy. So I discussed how to read food labels. And then also Meal Plan 101, because again, remember, a lot of them were skipping meals because they did not properly plan out their days, and didn't have that little thing on the side, oh, if I have to work late, what am I going to do? So I helped them create a way so that they can plan their meals and be prepared for anything. And then to bring it all home, we did a nutrition Jeopardy game at the end, just to make sure and validate that they actually learned things, and it helped with their self-efficacy in knowing that, hey, I did learn this, and hey, I can get through this, and we can make the positive changes. So the evaluation plan had short-term, outcomes, medium-term outcomes, as well as long-term outcomes. The short-term outcomes, the soldiers will decrease the amount of sugar-laden drinks they consume daily and plan out their meals and snacks to ensure they do not skip any meals. The long-term, the soldiers will lose weight and be taken off the overweight program, as well as their health will be benefited as well. They'll have less injuries, and they will also have a decreased risk of developing heart disease as well as diabetes. So the instruments for the evaluation that I'm going to use for my evaluation program, for the evaluation part of this, is an attitude survey. I'm going to use the attitude survey to gauge the attitude of the students in making the positive changes that they need to make, as well as having an evaluation form to assess if what I taught really was effective, if they really got what they needed to get, if they had any questions, concerns, or room for improvement. Also, the Nutrition Jeopardy game will show that what I taught them was effective, did they actually learn what I taught them, and also a bi-weekly food journal that will work on the medium-term and long-term goals. And then the food behavior questionnaire, which I already talked about, and the food frequency questionnaire as well. For the evaluation plan, again, there's mediators and indicators, as this slide shows here. There's a physical outcome, the perceived barriers. The indicator will be self-reporting of increased water consumption and decreased sugar consumption. Self-efficacy, the indicator will be increased awareness of risk of consuming large amounts of sugar. And then the perceived benefits, the indicator will be the soldier receives increased family support in their quest to lose weight by adopting healthy behaviors at home. And then goal setting skills, the indicator would be the soldiers have an increased understanding of the need to eat 3 balanced meals and 2 snacks daily. There are threats that can occur whenever you're dealing with anything, whenever you're creating any type of survey, measuring instrument of event. There's always things that can happen. There's in mine, I noticed that there was internal threats as well as external threats. So there's 2 statistical methods that I like. I like the statistical inference and the hypothesis testing. I love both of them, and I hate to just limit to just one because they both, I think, would be very beneficial, especially when I want to take this to Major General Rainey for expanding the program. But the statistical inference is a method of drawing conclusions from data that is subject to random variation. It is great for, if you have a target population from a relatively small number representing that population, which I do. I have 20 soldiers that we could, have represent a larger population, which is all of the overweight soldiers in the Army. Then the hypothesis testing is an evaluation hypothesis is a statement about anticipated changes produced by health promotion and education interventions that is testable. So this could be very beneficial as well in helping to see if this nutrition education program would be beneficial for expanding throughout the United States military. And as I already said, in my conclusion, as I said before, I really want this nutrition education program, and I'm working very strongly in getting this program expanded throughout the United States military. So this evaluation plan and all these various surveys and statistical analysis and whatnot will help me improve my program so that I can expand it throughout the military. And all of this evaluation plan will show the effectiveness of my program and the support, bringing it through the entire military. Thank you very much for listening to my my evaluation plan. Have a super day. Bye.